All right. So we're gonna make it perfectly in time. Game has not started yet for us, so we will be making it perfectly to catch the entire game. So, for those of you guys just joining us right now, we have the blue team, aka the Wolf Pack, and we have the red team, which currently, to my knowledge, do not have a name. As of this moment, they're just known as Team 7 in the tournament. So, we'll just let the Smite continue to buy out some items here. Gotta get the solos up top. Put the junglers together. Put the mids in the middle. ADCs and supports on the bottom. Alright. So let's see how we go. Jorm, interestingly enough, is rushing a Druid Stone. Not really sure where that's gonna go. In the dual laners are currently looking menacingly at each other. Looking at the builds, Rat has elected to go into a Ancient Blade. Ooh, gonna see what that is. Maybe looking to do some Rat ADC shenanigans. Well, Pele has elected to go a more traditional start. Over here, Jorm is currently spectating to see what is going on. The invades. Well, we look at duo's side of the lane. Yep, nothing too interesting happening there. Mid laners both have a traditional mid lane start. Raging going for the spear rush, while Hera is looking to rush a Chronos pendant. So, as the game begins, both the mid laners and the junglers clearing out the speed camps. Jorm looks like he's got some vision on the blue buff. Well, Baron has decided to go for wave. Not really sure what the Jorm is doing. He's missing out on quite a bit of farm, making his way into lane now. Potentially was looking for a gank, but decided to maybe wait for the jungle rotation. Meanwhile, over in the dual lane, Cupid is taking a ton of poke trying to clear out the lane. Rama definitely having strong lane clear and good poke potential. Has definitely put this Cupid in a precarious position. Horus does get his ability off on the Cupid, the Gust, and pops the shield for some reason. I'm not really sure why he popped his shield that early. Maybe he was worried that the Cupid would be able to do more. Somewhere on the map, Pele did dive a tower and has died for it. Very unfortunate for the red team, but Pele dying to tower does mean that the blue team, that the Wolfpack will not get any gold. However, they will get gold from the Hera, soloing the Raging in mid. Very nicely done for the blue team, getting themselves first blood. Over in the solo laners doing what solo lanes do best, which is look menacingly at each other and punch each other. The Wolfpack's jungler has got aggressive on this red, however, took a tremendous amount of poke and was not able to secure the camp and gets picked up by the jungler. A good counter rotation by the red team. Just maybe did not have the correct vision to know that that was happening. However, he did drop the red, it looks like, so that is at least something for his life. Pele going to regress on the Wolf team's red. Doesn't look like the Hera is going to contest this, so the red team will pick themselves up a free red buff. Very, very nicely done. Over in the duo lane's doing what they do best. Well, the red team are going to elect to take oracles, okay? Very, very nicely done, boys. Cupid and Ganesh being forced under their tower, but here is where Cupid's lane sustain is going to come into play, with Horus having his 3, Cupid having the hearts. It'll be interesting to see if the sustain on the Cupid is what makes this lane swing in favor of the Wolf Pack. It will be very interesting to watch that lane closely as the game goes on. Currently Hera taking this opportunity of lane to try to do the camp there, however, decided to step off it when the Raging did come and gave the Raging the farm. The very unfortunate for the Hera. Not really sure why she didn't try to contest that more. Just did not feel comfortable, I guess, with that exchange. Over here, Cupid did dash in momentarily there, looking to get aggressive on the enemy team. However, he does miss his heart bomb, so that is a good amount of their engagement down. So they will be forced to retreat under their tier 1 tower. Ooh. Over in the mid lane, it looks like the red team's Pele is rotating onto the Hera, maybe? No, they thought better of it and are just going to go clear their red buff. At this particular moment in time, Rat is looking for the early gank into the dual lane. Cupid being pretty low, though. Not sure if there was a gank call there or if Rat's just going to come and leech some quick farm. Give some presence to the dual lane that their Rat is lurking around there. Not a bad idea if that was the plan. However, it does not seem to have worked because the red team was able to stay in lane and got themselves some farm. So that is minions pushing their tier 1 tower of the blue team. Currently in mid-range, it did force Hera under her tower. However, a good rotation from the Pikachu will secure the blue team's buff. Very nicely done. For the Wolfpack, Rat can help himself to the XP camp. The XP camp has recently changed in the most current patch from being 2 to 1 Heartbeat now. Over in the duo lane, Horus takes a Heart Bomb to the face, courtesy of a certain Cupid. Doing some nice damage, however, nothing more could really be done off that. Ganesh definitely low on mana right now. However, somehow, Ganesh is level 5, while the Cupid is level 4. Not really sure how that happened. Ganesh carry, potentially? Question mark? Good engaged by the Rama there. Will get the Cupid low. However, in the mid lane, the Pele does ult in on the Hera and picks herself up a nice kill. Rat, unfortunately, was unable to defend, being so low in health, and was forced to retreat. Pele looking to aggress all the way through the tower. Could have Pickers and Proxy wave there. Very interesting. Rat is going to attempt to clear his speed. However, he's getting super low, and the Pele is rotating on it. Very nice dash from the Rat. Very good from engage from the Hera. However, it was not enough damage, and the Pele was able to find herself a kill. Pele checking on the blue team's blue buff. Unable to find it, though. She will pick herself up the back XP camp and may potentially look to aggress on the Baron. Baron and Yorm continuing to slap each other in their lane. Baron does ult on the Yorm, getting some nice damage on him. However, he is unaware of the Pele rotation coming in from behind. There's a knock-up. There's the one. Baron does not find his one in return, but the healing from his 3 on the Jorm will allow him to stay in lane. No sweat from the Baron. Rat is going to take to the skies, though. Potentially looking for the Pele. Maybe going to dive in on the Yorm. Instead, he will dive behind. Maybe looking for a kill. No, he's just going to take the blue buff. However, the red team are very aware of this. Baron is a little late to this rotation, but it looks like they were able to secure the buff. Very nicely done from the Wolfpack, using that Rat ult to get the pressure in the lane. Baron is going to solo the Yorm. I don't know what happened there. The Yorm very clearly saw that Baron was still in the lane, looking right at him. Not sure if he was currently in the shop menu buying and was just not looking at his map, or if he really just did not respect the damage coming up from the Baron. Meanwhile, in the duo lane, Rama does go up to the skies and ult. However, a nice ult from the Rama does force back the Cupid. However, Fields of Love coming out combined with the Ganesh ult does get the Horus down very low. A very good attempt from the Wolfpack to pick themselves up the support of the red team. However, they were just not able to find enough damage. Taking a look at the builds, Cupid currently has elected to go into Shoes, and looks like he'll be going into Transcendence, while Rama has elected to go into, and is currently stacking his Devourer Gauntlet, giving him some sustain, while Cupid has it built into his kit with the Heart Bombs. Looking at the solo laners, Jorm decided to go into a Void Stone. That's what that Druid Stone was going to be. It makes complete sense finding another magical solo lane. Well, Baron has elected to go into Purple Shoes and is currently building into a Bancroft talent, looks like, giving himself even more sustain than what he already has. It should be very interesting to see how that matchup works as the game continues. Rat elected to go for a Poison Blade. That's an interesting choice from the Rat. Definitely to help counter some of the healing from the red team. However, that does leave Pele able to go into a Crusher, and she does pick herself up a Rat and the Hera as the fight breaks out in duo lane. A good rotation from the Horus does secure that. Ganesha just a little too late on his rotation into the mid lane. Looking at the ward placement, we have a ward in the back and a ward up top, so there should have been vision that was happening. I'm not sure if there was the call to fight and the call just went bad, or what happened. Meanwhile, Pele will drop to the red buff. Red buff having been changed in the last update, so now it does actually hit back slightly. Over in the solo lane, Jorm was forced to ult, being very low. Forced to ult all the way back to his blue buff, which he will look to take, while Baron is free to clean wave up. Very nicely done. Not really sure what exactly happened. Unfortunately, Jorm can't even get the buff, though, as the Baron rotation will force him out. Baron does miss the 3, though, and may, in fact, miss the kill from that. Taking the opportunity to put some damage into wave and poke the Yorm. Baron looks like he will be going back into lane. Yorm, unfortunately, cannot contest this blue buff with not knowing that the Baron is in lane. Baron has full committed to lane, so Jorm will be able to pick himself up the blue, having some help from the Horus rotation. Meanwhile, in the duo lane, Rat does come over to help the Cupid. However, that does force out the Rum ult. Unfortunately, all 3 shots down. Rum is currently running for his life. Rat chooses to go to the skies. Very interesting decision to do that. Does land back down and finishes the kill that the Cupid started. Cupid getting the last damage in with his autos and or explosion from his heart bomb. However, in the solo lane, Pele did rotate over on the Baron, getting a pick, helping the solo lane get repressure. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, a combination of Hera's Argus and the Ganesh ult does secure the Raging. Horus does use his ult to get over to the mid lane, bringing Jorm with him. However, at this point in time, the fight is over and the blue team has elected to fall back. Good attempt. If the blue team had pushed up, that Horus ult would have been very useful, getting himself and the Jorm into the fight very quickly. Taking a quick break from the action to look at builds. Currently looking to see Cupid does have his Transcendence online and attack speed shoes. He will be stacking that. The stacks of Transcendence, of course, coming online. 25 minions quicker than Rom as well. However, Rom does have a very good lead right now, being at 43 stacks. Looking at the builds of the solo laner, both solo laners have elected to go for Shoots of the Magi Rush. And talking about solo lane, Yorm currently being 3-man or 2-man rotated on. I thought Ganesh was rotating over this way, my mistake. However, the combination of the Rat and the Baron pressure does force the Yorm to ult away to safety. Over in the duo lane, Cupid soloing the Rama. Rama ult not being up for the escape. And Cupid being able to just put a bit more damage into the Rama than what he could take. Very, very nicely done from the blue team. Over in the mid lane, Raging is taking this opportunity to clear out and put some pressure on the tower. Hera luckily just does rotate back in time not to miss a single creep there. And we'll look to aggress with the Ganesh on her red. However, Cupid does rotate out of his lane and does get picked up in the jungle by the Raging and the Horus. A very interesting rotation from the Cupid. Not sure what he was really trying to do. Maybe contest the red, but without having the vision, he does get picked up. However, in the solo lane, the Pele does rotate once again into the solo and picks up the Baron, giving the Jormungandr a very nice advantage in lane with his pressure and the damage onto the tier 1 tower. The rotation from the jungler has forced a rotation from the support and the mid, who decides better and to go back and defend her tier 1. Taking a look quickly at the XP and gold difference as the red team have started up the Gold Fury. Cupid does use the heart bomb, the Fields of Love to try to get the Gold Fury, however does not, but a combination of the heart bombs and the rat rotation do find themselves a pick on the Horus. Rat does take to the skies, looking to potentially go down on this red, thinks better of it, and will let the red team take the red. Meanwhile, Cupid does try to box the Rama, however, that engagement did start off. The Rama was able to outbox the Cupid. Cupid not having the sustain of a Devil Gauntlet, relying on the power of the Transcendence, meaning Rama can heal off his autos, where Cupid was relying on the heart bombs. Over in the solo lane, Jorm and the Baron continuing to box. A rotation from the Rat does force out the Jorm 8 ult again. Very nicely done from the red team solo laner, holding that ult until the rotation does come in. Rotation from the Pele does not seem maybe noticed. However, a rotation from the Ganesh and Hera do sniff out the Pele, so the Rat does not get caught in the jungle. Meanwhile, the Rama, having one lane, decides to rotate into mid, put some pressure on the tower if they do not decide to look for a Pyromancer. Meanwhile, in the back line, Pele does take away the blue team's back Harpies and potentially is looking to aggress on this Rat, who is currently calling in the Ganesh to help them go in on the Pele. Do miss the stun. The dynamic pillars do come down, forcing the Pele to ult herself to safety. Meanwhile, they do pick themselves up the Pyromancer. Very nicely done from the red team. A current 1k gold difference starting to develop in favor of the red team. Looking at the grouping of the teams currently, it looks like both teams are kind of starting to group around mid lane. Little interesting, being that Gold Fury is down and there is no real objectives other than the tower to take. Interesting grouping. Understandable from the blue team, having their tower down. Definitely low health from the red teams, but still at a sufficient amount to pose a threat. Maybe perhaps because the tier 1 tower in duo is down for both teams, they are looking to apply now pressure into the mid lane and start trying to split the map in one way or another, either in favor of the red or the blue team. Meanwhile, over here, Baron and the Jorm continue to trade blows as solo laners tend to. Jorm getting quite a bit of damage into the Baron. Jorm liking to work into anti-healing. Well, the Baron looks like he's picked himself up a Ethereal Staff. Baron going more damagey, while the Orm looking to go tanky. We'll see how this develops as the game goes on. However, a rotation from the Horus will secure the tier 1 tower in solo. Rotation in the mid lane, Hera aggressing on the Raging does force him out. However, a dive into the back line from the Pele does secure the Rat, and ult from the Baron to the skies to try to peel for himself does work successfully. So the red team will find themselves, though, a nice pick on the Pikachu. Looking at the position of the map right now, all 5 members of the red team have currently grouped around the Fire Giant, while Cupid was currently over in the dual lane trying to pick himself up some solo farm. Cupid being a level behind. I'm not sure if that was the call to do, either to engage in that fight there or for the Cupid to be split if they were going to. Very interesting positioning from the blue team. As the game continues to develop, we take a look at the jungler builds. Everyone definitely looking to see if Rat, with his new changes to the Acorn, is going to be as broken as people saying. Currently looking, Rat has built himself a Rage and looks to be going into a potential Winged Demon, maybe, or a Poison Star. Well, the Pele is going a traditional jungle build, Crusher, Power Shoes, and an Erendite, and maybe going into a Trans or a Heartseeker. Currently, the Pele, though, being 8-2, will Rat being 1-3. Is this operator error, or is Pele still an incredibly strong jungler, able to overcome the shenanigans of the new Rat build? However, a very nice rotation from the Cupid, dropping the Fields of Love, and Hera dropping Argus does secure the Raging, who just was caught out of unaware of that rotation happening. With the pickup of the Raging, both teams looking to advance towards the Gold Fury. My mistake. It is actually an Oni Fury. I wasn't sure if it was an Oni or Primal, so I just decided to say Gold Fury because everyone knew what I was talking about. Very nice ward placement from the red team, having wards all over the blue team side of the jungle. Currently, though, no one does have a vision of the Gold Fury itself. Both teams electing to instead just get wards around the objective to see if they are going to be contested. As both teams continue to kind of dance around the Gold Fury and take some farm in mid. Hold that thought. Pikachu seems to have very committed to clearing this wave. The potential rotation from the Yorm was there, however, I guess the call was made to let him go. As now 4 members of the red team are rotating over to the Gold Fury. A very late rotation from the blue team is they are on their way, and red team does decide to step off the objective. Yorm taking a ton of poke, forcing out the ult to safety. However, the dynamic pillars do come down, and the Baron ult do pull the Horus in. Fields of Love comes down, trying to trap the Rama, but are unable to. However, the dive from the Pele does find herself the Ganesh. So much has happened at this moment. Raging goes in and ults, getting himself the Cupid. Rama comes back in, picking himself up the Rat. Meanwhile, Argus was able to pick themselves up the Pele, who had dived in. Raging does die to his red buff, it looks like. Very interesting to see what happened there. As both teams recover from that exchange of ults, never mind. Horus looking like he's going to go to the sky, but looking to gank on this Hera. Hera seemed to be well aware. A very nice shield and a polymorph does provide herself the peel and damage onto the Horus, forcing the rotation. Very nicely done from the blue team, having full awareness of what was happening. Looks like the call is made to try to sneak a Pyromancer. Hera and the Baron looking to commit to that, while the red team are looking to go back and farm. However, as soon as this objective is done, there should be a massive fight for the Gold Fury. A rotation from the Ganesh over to zone, it looks like, while Cupid and Rat are hovering around in the duo lane to defend the Gold Fury. It does look like the Pyromancer is going to go down uncontested. The red team just not having any vision of this objective. As I see a ward on the objective from the blue team, either taking out the vision of the red team or just having vision, while red team had elected not to do that. And while this is happening, Cupid and the Rat have started up the Gold Fury. The red team looks like they are on their way. Pele and the Rama. And there's the TP in from the Yorm. Rama has gone to the air, however cannot secure it, but the rotation from the Pele will pick up the Rat. Hera just caught out of position by the Yorm ult, was not able to get free and does go down. So, blue team do secure the objective, but they do lose 2 members of their team in the process. Cupid has separated himself from the team, being over in the jungle, picking up some XP, while the tier 1 tower in mid falls, and the members of the red team are going to aggress to what looks like a fire giant. The Fire Giant has been started by the red team. Very interesting, as the Yorm does try to zone. Pele going off on a different direction, looking to cover all potential entry points. A nice dash in from the Pele does try to get the Pele, but her ult was just too strong. Baron does pick himself up the Horus. Very nicely done. However, the damage is just too much for the Baron to take, leaving just the Ganesh to defend the objective. And Ganesh, as well as good as he is, just is incapable of 1v4ing. Very unfortunate for the blue team. However, a good call there to get what they could. A Alton from the Rat looking to secure the gold. Rat does like to go on the Rage and misses the stun. Oh no! He misses the 2 and gets picked up by the red team. Very unfortunate for the for the blue team. Hera does go in and cleans up the Pele with Argus and her 1. A very, very interesting choice for, or just maybe it was a misclick for the Rat to go in as he did and not get the pick on the Raging, which should have been very, very free. However, A good response from the blue team, knowing that the goal for the Fire Giant was the call and to get over there as quick as possible. Hera currently going to push the minions in dual lane. However, she does seem to be unaware that there is a Rage in there looking to defend. Luckily for the Hera, Rage's ult is currently down, so if they do choose to engage here, it will be an ability-on-ability fight without the cheekiness of ults. A rotation from the Rama to assist his mid laner, as well as a rotation from the Cupid to assist his mid laner, meant there could have been a cool fight. However, both teams like to just back off and continue to farm. Well, both teams decide to take a brief pause from the fighting. As soon as I say that, of course, there's a 3-man rotation towards Fire Giant, as all members of the red team are currently grouping around this objective. Cupid once again finds himself all the way over on the other side of the map. Not sure if he is really concerned about his farming, or if he's just caught unaware, because he's taking a lot of time to rotate over here. Meanwhile, the red team have all 5 members here. Cupid just a little late on these rotations. Taking a quick look at the item builds for them. Both of the ADCs on the team look to be about the same level and itemization, so I'm not really sure what the Cupid is doing. However, both teams now here in force around the objective is going to force both teams to do what we like to call the Fire Giant dance. Well, they will look to dance around the Fire Giant, poke, and trying to gain an advantage before the call is made to go in on the team or start the objective. Looks like the call is made as Hera goes down, as Hera drops the Argus and Ganesh drops his dynamic pillars. Pele does go in as well as the Yorm does, however. Just a bit too much damage there from the blue team for the Yorm. However, a nice ult from the Rama does pick himself up the rat in the backline. Pardon me. A good push from the blue team does see off the red team back into their jungle, as it looks like the blue team may start up the Fire Giant. However, the red team is not going to give up the objective without a fight. Baron taking an opportunity to get some nice poke on the Horus, as the Raging does do about half of Cupid's health. Meanwhile, a cheeky rotation in from the back line is the Pele. Red team buying time as the Pele is coming up the back. Blue team are unaware of this as Pele goes on Hera. Hera drops the Argus to try to peel. However, Baron was there to peel and Pele is forced to retreat. The Ganesh does go in to try to hold off the rest of the red team, as the dynamic pillars and the Baron ult do secure them the Raging pick. Very nicely done from the blue team, as it looks like Yorm has TP'd into the back line to try to get some secure on the squishies. However, a good positioning from Baron does mean that that will not be the case. A good ult from the Cupid to peel for his solo laner, as the return of the rat does secure the Pele. Jorm did go in to try to find himself some damage, however, was just not able to find enough, as Rat does take to the skies to make sure that they have full vision of the team. A rotation in from the Baron, and the Rat do secure the Jorm. Jorm just catching himself a little out of position there, not respecting the Rat damage and not knowing that the Baron was there. However, as the blue team do start up the Fire Giant, they have to be aware that this Horus is here, as the objective gets lower and lower and lower, as Horus goes in to try to steal it with his one. However, he just goes in a little too early and is not able to. Robin does take to the skies to try to secure the Pyro Giant with his ult, or maybe the fire. However, either one was a little too late, as the blue team do pick themselves up both objectives. Very, very nicely done for the blue team, as that will see all 5 of their members with Fire Giant. Well, there are now currently 4 members of the red team to contest this Gold Fury. However, it looks like they are just going to back and concede the Primal Fury. A very nice play from the blue team, taking all 3 objectives off the map and now looking to pressure the tier 2 tower in duo lane, which the red team do have to give up for free, as blue team still do have the Fire Giant. Minions in the solo lane pushing the blue team's tier 2 tower. However, they were just not able to find it. So that is 3 towers, and with that, the blue team have pulled a commanding lead over the red team. What was originally a deficit for the blue team has turned into an almost 10k advantage in their favor, meaning that the red team are, for lack of better terms, are currently going to be on the back foot, as this advantage in gold can definitely be seen in the builds. As we take a look, the red team having a majority of their starter items, while blue team has completely sold all of theirs except for the rat, who still is holding on to his assassin's blessing. Meaning that the blue team will have a tremendous amount of more damage and protection as they look to begin to start sieging the phoenixes. However, there is still a tower in solo lane for them to deal with should they choose to do so, or they may elect to just push into one of the 3 lanes instead. Or, excuse me, 2 lanes, because one of the lanes still does have the Phoenix. It looks like the call is made to try to get a pick in the jungle, as 3 members of the blue team do push up. However, Rat is currently coming back from base, meaning this will be a 5v4 as Rat scurries his little legs to get there. He has crossed the halfway point as the blue team do look to try to get some poke. However, they eat a ton of poke from the Ragin. The call was just not the call was to try to get some poke. Whatever the call was, it did lead to a tremendous amount of poke on the blue team. Blue team electing to give up the siege onto the Phoenix, and instead will satisfy themselves with a tier 2 tower. With the tower gone, the blue team look like they are going to again aggress against the the solo lane side of the map, as Rat is able to seal away Pele's speed buff. Ganesh currently tanking quite a bit. Jorm goes in. There is the ult from the Hera, the ult from the Ganesh, and the ult from the Baron. Jorm is forced to ult himself to safety and is electing to stay in the fight. However, he does get picked up by the Hera as Ragin does begin clapping those taiko drums. He does get picked by get aggressed on by the Cupid. However, Cupid does go down, but a nice rotation from the Baron does find the Ragin pick. Chorus taking just a little too much damage from the Rat. However, a good rotation back in from the Pele does see the Rat fall. However, with that being said, that is 3 members of the Wolfpack with Fire Giant that will now be looking to continue their aggress into the Titan room, leaving a Rama and a Pele who does blink in. There's the 3 and the knock up on the Ganesh. Not able to find the kill though. A nice stun from the Baron does see Pele get half health as Ganesh does dive in. And the dynamic parallels do come down again, taking a little damage on the Rama. However, just not able to find the pick on the Pele. With that being said, though, the Phoenix in mid lane has also fallen to the blue team. That is 2 Phoenixes now in favor of the blue team, as it looks like they will spend their gold and wait for the rest of their team to spawn before they begin to look for the objectives as they come up on the map. Or they may look to instead make just an immediate push into the Titan room. Ganesh electing to pick himself up a red buff. Cheeky to Ganesh with the red buff. You love to see it when your supports decide to go damagey. Well, both teams begin respawning and pushing out from their respective bases. Let's take a moment to look at the builds. Baron Samedi definitely being one of the key figures in this game with his 10 team assists that he's had. Being fairly tanky, electing to go for a Rod of Asclepius. You don't see that very often on Barons, deciding he has enough protections, while the Yorm has elected to go for a E-Staff as well as Spectral Armor. Definitely not appreciating the crit coming out of the Rat and the Cupid. Rat has elected to go for a full crit build with Acorn, Rage, Malice, and now looking to build having a serrated edge. Blue team will pick themselves up an uncontested Pyromancer. Very nicely done from the blue team. But as we do get later into this game, all the starter items from the red team are currently gone, including Jorm, who's currently waiting on an item slot. Ganesh does drop the dynamic pillars to zone out the the red team. As the blue team do pick themselves up a fire giant. Rama did go to the sky to try to secure it. However, Hera does pick up the Pele in the back line as Rat goes to the sky and picks himself up the Raging and does escape from the horse that is chasing him. Rama giving full chase to the Rat is unable to find it as Hera and Cupid are pushing up. Currently, the red team are electing to chase down the Rat, while 4 members of the blue team are just going to push straight into the Titan room. Rama and the Horus are forced to back as the blue team do begin the siege. Horus does take to the skies looking to aggress on the Cupid. Cupid does beads the Horus knock-up combo. Baron does ult. Ganesh drops the dynamic pillars. Jorm does ult to try to get some space. However, the Titan is dropping just too fast. And there you have it, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. That is a tremendous win for the blue team. A tremendous comeback from what was originally a very deficit KDA for the blue team. However, this game is all about the objectives, and blue team were just able to rotate and get themselves a commanding gold lead and pick themselves up a very, very well fought game 1. However, the games are not over, ladies and gentlemen. As I'm sure most of you are aware, this is a best of 3, so we will quickly go down to the teams for picks and bans of game 2.